M.Ibrahim Itwala, and today I am here with another amazing interview. So today our guest was Michael Ballard. I think I just do some mistake in your name pronouncing. So okay, so can you introduce yourself?
Hello, Michael Ballard, Resiliency for Life, and I speak about lived experiences about how to be more resilient. And resiliency is a beliefs and values system, and it helps us stay safer and can often, not always, but can often help us have better quality experiences and outcomes. And it's skills and processes that beliefs and values, skills and processes, better experiences, safer quality outcomes. Impacts health, school grades, graduation rates, happiness, and our relationships with others.
Okay, thank you so much. What a great introduction. I think there is some internet connection issues, so that's why it's hard to. Okay, so my next question from you is, can you please explain about your company, the Resilience of Life, and your website?
Sure. So I got interested in resiliency when I had a serious illness, chronic illness, and the doctor with good intentions said there's nothing you can do. Well, I don't know about your house, but in my house, that's almost an illegal statement. First, we have faith, then we have the wisdom of those that have experienced similar things. How have they coped? What have they done to stay safe and thrive? And I'm a big fan of education and science. So, blessed to live in a city where we have access to three major universities, research libraries, as well as two public libraries that are research based. And I went to one and I found a librarian who had a master's in library sciences and information. I believe that's the title. And she said, Michael, interesting, you should ask. There's new research that's come out from a leading university saying that if you do the following things for resiliency, you could have 20% less symptoms of your chronic illness, less intensity, less frequency. And I was like, boom, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Not a cure, no magic, got to work at it every day, 20 minutes a day. But 20 minutes a day for less symptoms, less pain, less intensity, less frequency. Wow. Oh, and 30+% cheaper to treat the chronic illness. So the operating system that we all have and the thoughts and emotions we have tied into our faith, tied into our behavior, our beliefs and values has a big impact. And it's not always conscious. It's unconscious. We all, from the day we're conceived, get programmed by what's going on around us, by what's going on, by what's said on the television, on social media, our friends, our teachers, our parents, our religious leaders. They all impact our thoughts and feelings. So the nice thing I like about resiliency is everybody that's ever taken any work from me said, it doesn't contradict me. I said, good. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to supplement. It gives you different language and basic behavior for breathing skills. And so resiliency is not wonder, miracle. It's not a drug. It's, again, it's beliefs and values, thoughts and feelings, and our behavior. And there are skills that are research proven to help us. So that's why I do what I do, for whether it's chronic illness or helping salespeople who are having a bad year because maybe their beliefs and values are getting in the way of their success. Maybe it's, I work with a young boy who was having problems at school. We taught him skills to be calm. And later the teacher said, he told me that Michael said that when you're calm, it helps your brains come out on the test. So resiliency is in part about learning how to calm and focus our minds.
Okay, that's really great. So that means you just like really take it positive and you make the cure by reading and by resiliency, and that's really great. So can you please tell me how much time you are in this field, and what type of people you just help them?
Over 29 years now, I've been doing this. So I've got to work with the government in Singapore. We did a video for a tech firm with 10,000 staff. They eventually, I found out, rolled it out to the spouses of the people, and then they did it, and they did it for 13-year-olds and up. So anybody that had a youth in the family could also watch the course, take the course, because it's never just an individual. Whether it's your parents, your partner, your children, maybe you have a grandparent living with you, we're all interconnected. And so the more of us that can learn it, it's not brainwashing, it's independent thought. But my independent thought and your independent thought in the same room, if yours is positive and respectful but resilient, you're going to pull me along. You're going to say, Michael, that's a nice idea, but how about thinking about it this way instead? So I call myself a realistic optimist. I have chronic health issues, not fun. But it appears that genetically, if one of your parents has my particular health issue, and your grandparent has it, and your aunties and great aunties have it, you have an almost 90% chance of getting it. So I manage my diet, I manage my exercise, and my grandmother got her health issue at 40. My mother had hers at 60, at 50. I had mine at 60. I believe that's in part because every generation learns and builds on the generation before. So by practicing my resiliency skills and managing my exercise and diet, I had it delayed by 10 years compared to my mom. And it's still well managed. So it's important that we pay attention because it affects our chronic health, acute health, our grades and graduation rates, our happiness, and our business success.
Oh, that's really great. It means you really work with the future, like you make the things that will positive for the future. So that's really great. So, what do you think about it?
Thank you.
And what do you think that? So, telling this about the resiliency to the people, so they're really interested in it. And how many people were connected with you?
Oh, I got about in social media. I don't like the term followers. I like what you just said, connections, because some connections are far wiser, more experienced than me, and that doesn't mean they're older than me. That just means they are where they are. And I have about 52,000 connections nowadays, mostly LinkedIn. I like LinkedIn because it's not a dating site. People don't confuse it for that. Oh, twice a year somebody gets silly and foolish, and you either help them understand that they were wrong, or you just block them because I'm not going to waste time on repeated foolishness. And having these connections, I like to share some of the lessons and some of the skills. So I'm working currently with some high IQ preteens. So we were talking about presentation skills and thinking skills. And one of the skills that the research says is that helps us with calmness is alternative nostril breathing. So 2 fingers on your close one side, breathe in on 3, hold for 3, exhale on 3, and then repeat on the other side. And the interesting thing is that breathing skill affects our brain according to the neurology report, different than belly breathing, triangle breathing, and all the other types of breathing. So as I said to these youth, that soon to be youth, it's not that you need to know 19 breathing skills, but you need to know that 19 of them exist, and you've practiced them all a few times, and then practice your 3 favorites all the time. But then one day, if they don't work, you've got 16 others to try, practice, and one of those 3 will help you when you're being anxious or fearful or not concentrating or having a sleep issue. And then there's your beliefs and values. So the doctor with good intention who told me there's nothing you can do about chronic illness. Well, did I get mad at him when I discovered that he was wrong? No. I just said forgive him for his awareness, but I'm going to do the best I can to take care of me, not giving up on what he does. He's a physical expert about my chronic health issues, but he obviously doesn't know about the power of faith, mental health, physical health, and emotional health. And when you combine them, I actually went a couple of years after the diagnosis and discovering the information. 2 years later, I went a whole year with no symptoms. That was a very nice year with no pain. So it works. So people need to know they have choices and need to have access to the information, and don't judge you based on what's working for me, because you could make it look easy, but secretly you practice twice as much as me. So it wouldn't be polite of me to say, well, you're lucky it works for you. I have a few people that say, I know I should do what you teach and what the universities say, but it's so much time. I don't know, 20 minutes a day to reduce my body of pain and get rid of a lot of symptoms. I think I'm worth it. So that's, we have to be careful how we judge others based on our success or failure in managing our health or managing our resilience. But we can make a difference in small ways or large ways or both.
Yeah, you are right. It helps for our own self. You are doing this exercise for your own self, for your own health. So yeah, it's worth it. You have to do it for your own life. So yeah, that's really great. And those exercise, I know that a lot of people were really like to just scrolling the reels on the internet, and they just spend a lot of time on the internet, but they don't think about their own life and the health. So if you do this type of thing, so it's help you to reduce the pain and reduce overthinking. So yeah, this
Yes.
is really great.
Yep. Great.
So can you please tell me type of like coaching do you giving to the people about these exercises?
Yes. Yes. One of the big skills that we get people to practice, and there's different names for it. And one name is called pre-framing, and another one's called pre-planning. Same thing, basically. So pre-planning or pre-framing is what are you going to do in advance to work through what you want to accomplish. So my dad, the best example I have at a young age of at 4 years old, I have mastered my tricycle, little three-wheeler, up and down the driveway. The family owned a little house. At 5, I'm allowed to go on the street, 2 houses up and 1 house down. My mom could keep an eye on me, so could my dad. And there's steering, there's pedaling, and I'm old enough that bicycles then didn't have brakes. You stop pedaling by pushing backwards. So steering, pedaling, safety, stop, look, listen, stop, look, listen. Great. So my dad said, now soon a bicycle. Now pre-framing or pre-planning was you've got, safety, stop, look, and listen. Pedaling. Stopping involves going backwards. Steering, you steer where you're going, not where you're looking. Once at 4 years old, when the new neighbor waved and said, "Hi, Michael," and I'm pedaling 2 houses up. Hi, I drove right into her little ditch. I was 4. So pre-planning, steering, pedaling, braking, safety, all important. Now you're going to start bicycling, says my father. You add balance. You're doing pedaling, you're doing steering, you're doing braking, you're doing safety. Now balance. Oh, it's new. So you're good at these things. You made one mistake with steering, but that's called being human. Nobody's perfect. Now balance. So pre-framing was talking me through it in advance so that it wasn't this big, oh my gosh. Because sometimes when we get one new thing introduced to us, we forget that we've already mastered other things. So pre-framing or pre-planning is in advance. What are the skills I need to learn? How well do I know them? Do I have gaps? Do I have any other resources I need? In my case, we lived on a country road. The gravel was rather big. So I couldn't have a bicycle with training wheels because they wouldn't work with the gravel. So My dad held the back of the seat. It took me a while because of those big travel. My balance wasn't that good at 5 years old, so I was pretty jittery. I could do 2 pedals and I'd stop because I wasn't steering with vigor. I wasn't holding on tight enough. So one lives and learns. But one of the biggest important things for me for resiliency is the pre-planning. Driver education, learning to drive many years ago. So Michael, you already, by then I'm 17, 18. You already know how to ride a bicycle. So, I know you only practiced in the beginning around your street, but now when you bicycle out in the main roads, you have to learn how to stop, signal. So cars not much difference except there's a stick on the wheel for signaling left or signaling right. So pay attention. So pre-planning, explaining gas pedal, brake. It was an automatic, the first car, no clutch. One less thing to learn. Okay, so 4 ways: windshield wipers, back defroster. It's Canada, lots of defrosting in the winter. So pre-planning can really help you reduce your stress and anxiety so you have a better quality experience. So I got very good at it. Passed my driver's test first time. Even doing that back in, I'm lucky that I have a good sense of distance and when I'm in a car. So for parallel parking. So that's a major skill set to me, is pre-planning or pre-framing. So before the interview, I said to myself, I'm going to meet a very smart student. He's going to ask intelligent questions. I even guessed I knew what background you were going to have for your virtual background. It just seems to be a thing. And so then I just sat here ready to go. My technology hiccuped 3 times. Doesn't usually, but today it decided to be annoying. I decided to be calm. 20 years ago, it might have made me a little crazy. Come on, I paid a lot of money for this technology. It should work. It's technology. It's more inconsistent than most people. So you just take a deep breath, give away the stress, say, he's there, I'm here, we'll make it happen in some way, shape, or form. So thank you for your patience with me and my technology.
Okay, thank you so much. And you just explained it in a very good way, and I really appreciate it because the things that you just explaining were pre-planning and I just what's the name you just explained right now,
Pre-framing.
like pre-framing, sorry for that. Yeah, so you just give a really great example of it about your when you was a kid, and about your bicycle life, and also the example that before the interview. So yeah, you are very good in the explaining and in examples. So let's go to our next question. And my next question is, can you just tell me about how you just take it like a business, and like to help people also? Because I think like in the businesses, people not think about to help others, but you are helping others also. So
So I got interested in this for business in that after my chronic health issues got stable and settled and I was practicing the skills so I didn't have as many issues, I got married, I got promoted again. And so work was exciting, but it was a little stressful. But that's okay. Exercise, diet, a loving family, faith, it all helps. But then I got a cancer diagnosis. Very frightening. So one of the things these days, they talk about gratitude and mental health. Well, back then they didn't have that word, but the one thing I was taught was to be grateful and thankful. So after my diagnosis, I was lucky that my doctor found that we had a surgeon in my region who had been graduated from school 3 years previous, But just as he was graduating, he discovered in Europe they had advanced surgery techniques for bowel cancer patients, and I had bowel cancer. So can you imagine, you go to school for 9 years? That's dedication to become a healer. And in his 9th year, he went, oh, we do good surgery in North America, but in Europe, they have this new advanced surgical techniques for bowel patients and bladder patients and kidney patients. I'm going to go to school for 6 more months. 6 more months on top of 9 years? Wow. Was I ever lucky to have him as my surgeon? So my gratitude list, or my inventory, was, let's see, Michael, what do you have to help you fight this fight? So, okay, raised in faith, really important. But start background, 4 loving and nurturing grandparents. Most of us don't have born into a family with 4 loving, nurturing grandparents. I had 4 till I was 13. One of my grandparents lived till I was in my mid-30s. Wow. 2 loving, nurturing parents. In North America, more than 20% of all children don't have 2 parents by the age of 1. Wow. 2 loving, nurturing parents. Uncles, siblings, aunties, a whole support network. Working for a company that said, take whatever time it takes. We're not going to fire you. We're not putting you on disability, full pay. So you don't have to worry about money. Wow. Oh, I had a grade 9 physical education teacher who, like my father, taught me pre-planning, pre-framing. Wow. I had a martial arts teacher who taught me physical pre-framing, pre-planning. Wow. I'm going to practice what these people taught me. I am not going to wallow. Now, here's the skill I didn't have a name for. My parents talked about it, but they didn't have a name. My phys ed teacher, my martial arts teacher talked about it. I didn't have a name. But since then, I took 3-day course with a psychological coach that teaches Olympic athletes. He called it disidentification. He said, when you have a big thing that happens to you, boom, it overwhelms you. Suddenly the issue you feel like the issue owns you, top to bottom and back to front. It's overwhelming. So to put it in my terms, I could have gone, I have cancer, I have cancer, I have cancer, I have cancer. Oh shit. Oh no. He said, disidentification is, I have cancer. Cancer does not have me. So this is normal. It's not evil. It's not wrong. It's not lazy. It just is. That's the initial overwhelm. But then you step back and go, cancer, read between the lines, get stuffed. I have cancer. It does not have me. I have a loving family. I have faith. I have siblings. I have parents. I have neighbors. I have. I had a gratitude list that was very long. Again, not everybody has born into a family where you have 4 grandparents till you're 13, 2 parents still when you're in your 20s, when you're fighting the fight, 2 loving brothers, a phys ed coach who taught me visualization. Michael, I know you have the skills to catch a football. I was one of those sensitive children. Footballs are pointy. I wanted to catch it, but I didn't have physical confidence. He said, look at those hands. Those aren't just hands. Those are mitts. You're going to catch the football. You're going to see it throw. It's a spiral. You're going to imagine it coming down. Your hands are out here. You're going to pull it in. You caught it. You own it. 2 practices. It worked. It still works. I just needed some steps. He gave me the steps, the pre-planning. My martial arts teacher. You're going to practice your breathing before something. You're going to feel, I'm putting my words on it now. You're going to feel your creator. You're going to sense the energy. You're protected. And you're going to protect yourself. You're not going to let what's going on out there come in here. You're going to acknowledge it because you're a fool not to acknowledge danger. But then you're going to protect yourself from blows. Anyways, long story short now, the nurses, the doctors, you're still happy. Said, let's be clear, I'm still scared. I got cancer. It's in 4 locations. But I got the only surgeon in the eastern provinces of Canada that's taken this advanced surgery. There's one in Boston, one in Halifax. There's not thousands of them in North America. There's just a couple of dozen. But I got somebody that cared enough to go back to school for 6 more months. Like, wow. So my gratitude list really helped me stay here where I'm Michael, I have cancer. Cancer doesn't have me. So that's possibly the biggest lesson. Disidentification is what the psychologist called it. And the other one is over-identification. And we've all met people who over-identify in some way. You know, I went to school with somebody who was always being pretty. Well, when they had an accident and got a scar, they were devastated because they identified as being pretty, not smart, not athletic, and they were smart, they were athletic, but they identified as pretty. Nothing wrong with thinking that you're pretty, you're handsome, but be careful that it's not all you are. It's a piece of who you are. So when I talk to youth and students, I love to tease them and say, hey, I identify as older, scratch and dent, high mileage, but that doesn't make me ugly or stupid, just much older. The famous actress Betty White, who died at 99, she was asked at 90, what's it like to be old? And she stopped the whole news conference and said to the young journalist, excuse me, young man, I'm not old. I'm just older than I used to be. So instead of some of my friends who are, because we're all over 70, oh yeah, I'm old now. No, I'm older than I used to be, but I'm not old because I want to stay fit. I want to eat well. I want to maintain good mental health and mental fitness. I want to keep practicing. So that's possibly the biggest skill set combined that I've ever learned, to be resilient.
So it's a really great example of perspective. Yeah, when you have a
Thank you.
great perspective, so you can make everything positive. So yeah, like you give the example of the cancer, that when you just get it, so many people just think that they are going to die and they always be sad. But you are of the one who think that cancer don't owns me, I own cancer. So which mean you can also just like fight with it. So yeah, it's a really great example for those are in the kind of sickness and type of. So like it's really a great example that you gave now. So can you
Thank you.
please for those people those have type of sickness or cancer, so you want to give them an advice that they don't have to be sad, they have to be like make a great perspective on their own self.
Well, yes, you still got the illness, chronic or acute. Yes, my surgery hurt. I've got 77 medical clips left in me, 5 surgeries, not fun, a lot of pain. But again, I refuse to be sad or angry. 7 and 24. So yes, cancer had me, but to quote a famous female musician, shake it off. I had cancer. Cancer didn't have me. I still went for all the treatments. I went for all the appointments. I went for all the follow-ups. I did everything I could possibly do physically based on the medicine, but then I did everything I could to be resilient as well.
Okay, that's a really great advice. So our interview time is going to be over, and it's really much time. So, do you want to give any last advice to everyone, those are watching us, and to me also, that was
Uh,
really affect your life?
be careful how much time you spend on these things. I have discovered a, a whole bunch of people who put up gardening posts. I've had organic garden, 20 feet long, 2 beds, 6 feet wide. We did real well. I had carrots that were like small cricket bats. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. But I've discovered people who are doing what they call small garden bed gardenings in tiny backyards, where they use cattle fence and put it in the ground, and they line it with weed retardant tarp, and they plant soil in it, and then they grow carrots, and they get a huge crop out of 1 square meter, except it's 3, 4 feet tall. So keep your perspectives open. Don't stop learning. I admit that when I finished college after 3 years, I didn't read books for probably 2 years because I was so many articles I read in journals and magazines and textbooks to do well in school that I stopped reading books. But I did keep reading magazines and journals to stay current in my career. So don't stop learning and be careful about age bias. Some of the smartest people I know are 12 and 15 and 18 years old. Some of the smartest people I know are over 90. But some of the nicest people I know are only in their 80s, but they're well intentioned, but they're not that smart. They don't read, they just repeat the same thing over and over again. So I don't judge people on age. I respect everybody, but be cautious of what people are saying. You've got a brain, please use it. And I leave me with the thought that there's one book we should all be reading, Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono, 6 ways to think about any issue. In a world where we're featuring a lot of propaganda and fake news and AI fake news, Six Thinking Hats gives us 6 ways to think about any topic, any issue. I really like it.
Okay, I hope I can also read that book and I will try to read that. So, thank you for your advice, and it's really worth it. And I really learned a lot from this. And thank you so much for your precious time. And I
Thank
hope
you.
the people, those are watching us, really also get knowledge from you. And by the way, you are a great exemplar, and you give a great, really great examples. Those are really worth it. So, thank you so much. And thank you so much for everyone those are watching us, and I will meet you tomorrow or any other time with another amazing person like Michael. So thank you so much.
We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page, Resiliency for Life, where we have skills and beliefs and values for you to help incorporate to be more resilient in the media section. So feel free to join, doesn't cost anything, and there's lots of information there.
Okay, so you can also join the that Michael is saying about their group, and I hope that that was really worth it. So thank you so much everyone. I will meet you another time with another amazing person like Michael.